Calling to order the Municipality of Monroeville's council meeting for September 14th, 2021. It is approximately 7:08 p.m. If we'd all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Roll call, please.
Mayor Griesbach.
Here.
Mrs. Gatos.
Here.
Mr. Poach.
Here.
Mr. Harvey.
Here.
Mr. Wolfram.
Here.
Mr. Osinko. Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Little.
Here.
Mr. Ratcher.
Here.
Ms. Rock. Mr. Hugus. Mr. Sedlak.
Here.
Mr. Weldon.
Here. Good evening. We're going to start with public comment on proposed agenda items only. If there's anyone here that would like to ask any questions or make any comments about the agenda, now would be your time to do so. Seeing none,
What am I hearing?
we're going to start with we have two presentations this evening. First, we have Mark Kochabinski regarding the Dan Balsick Memorial Golf Outing donation for the Monroeville Animal Shelter. Yeah, if you could stand in front of the microphones.
This one?
Nope, the other side, I'm sorry.
Other way.
Other way.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm pacing you, okay.
Yep, you're fine, you're good.
All right, great. So, good evening. Thanks for having us. My name is Mark Kochabinski, and I'm the Vice President of the Dan Balsick Memorial Fund. This is my wife, Julie, Treasurer of the Memorial Fund, and I'm also Dan and Donna's Balsick's brother-in-law. For those of you that did not know Dan, he was a lifelong resident of Monroeville and a Monroeville police officer for 26 years. Tragically, we lost Dan early this year, way too soon. Just a great man. So to honor Dan's memory and legacy of serving and helping, we created the Dan Balsick Memorial Fund. We're a 501(c) organization. And the fund held a golf outing this July at the Greensburg Country Club to benefit the Monroeville Animal Shelter.
Yay.
On behalf of the Balsick and Allen families, we'd like to thank everyone who participated and volunteered in the event. We had a great turnout. We had 125 golfers and several volunteers, dozens of volunteers. We've actually scheduled our next golf outing for August 12th of next year at the Greensburg Country Club. Obviously, if any businesses or organizations or individuals are interested in sponsoring, donating, things like signs, prizes, food, anything like that, we are definitely open to any donations. And you could feel free to contact Donna Balsick at 412-302-2960 or Balsick, which is BALCIK, at Comcast.net. I also know that Councilman Wilson donated a golf club, which was much appreciated. Thank you for that. The event was a positive experience for our family and for all Dan's friends, allowing us to give back to the community in Dan's honor. He would have been proud. So thank you again for the overwhelming support. The outing that we held was extremely successful, and it really touched one of the things that Dan loved, which was animals. So with the great response we had, we are proud to donate to the Monroeville Animal Shelter a check for $10,000.
Wow. Wow. Thank
Whose handwriting is that? Beautiful handwriting.
That's Donna's.
I just had a comment on
It wasn't
that.
Corey's, I could tell that. Right here in checks, you can't do that.
Let Corey hold the check. It's his check now.
We'll give you the real one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Wonderful.
Mark.
Thank you very much.
Corey, I got a marker for you. I got a big marker if you want to sign the back. You can endorse the back of it. Get your big marker.
Shut up.
Corey.
Place the check on the camera.
On the camera. And
On the table there, so we could get the camera.
Facing you.
We're laying down.
We'll find out in a second. Jared?
Oh,
Yep, you were right the first time. Spin it
Right
around.
the first time.
Spin it around, yeah. There we go.
Good job, Chief.
Very nice.
Yes, thank you so much for everyone that participated.
Yay.
Yeah, Dan served our community for many years, and he'll certainly be missed, and this is a great way to honor him. So thank you for all those who made this happen. Great.
That's fantastic. I guess we have to thank all these people. Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.
We have another presentation this evening by one of our staff members, our IT support specialist, Robert McMillan, regarding a new municipal website. So, Robert.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me tonight. Bear with me for about a minute here while I get the presentation loaded up.
No problem.
Take your
And then, Robert, you can take your
You can
minute
take
if
a
you
minute,
wish.
so.
Hear you.
Alrighty.
Good job, Robert.
Thank you. Alrighty. Wait till it loads up on the monitors. There we are. All right, everybody. Thank you for having me tonight. I'm here to present my rendition of the new municipal website that I've been working on over the past year or so. And currently, just to give you a little background, I am the IT support specialist for the municipality as a whole. I've been here since April of last year, and I'll let the presentation do the talking. So our current website for the municipality was originally designed in 2010. That makes it a very, very old groundwork for that website. It doesn't have any content management system, any database attached to it, any login system, anything like that. With new devices, with mobile phones and all that, support for mobile devices and the ability to read the website nicely when you browse to it on a mobile phone should be very, very important. As well as making sure that we're in compliance with Department of Homeland Security and the Computer Information Security Agency's guidelines for cybersecurity as well. So there is a snapshot of the current website. That is what you are greeted with when you get to the home page. Very outdated in terms of text size, mainly. So as we've progressed, resolutions have gotten bigger, full HD. It was never designed to handle that type of stuff. So with the new website, I have replicated all content onto the new website from the current website. I designed it to be more accessible, secure, and from the ground up, compliant with the DHS and CISO guidelines. We've created a custom database to enhance search result accuracy and user satisfaction. And we've created an on-site registration system as well for content management and general administration of the website. As well as that baked-in support for mobile devices as well. We've also created a contact us form. Very, very simple. Give us your name, body of the message, and your email address, and it'll send it right to the municipal reception desk for a reply, information, etc. We've also added in a site search powered by Google. Once it is live, it'll index the site, and when you search Monroeville on Google or on Bing search, it will come up with relevant results that will take you right to our website, right to what you're looking for. So here is a view of the homepage of the new website. Just a little snapshot there.
Oh, with snow. It's coming.
So I have removed the snow picture for the live demo later on. So no worries there. It's a little drab, little drab. Didn't mean to set the mood drab, but we'll get better. So here is what the mobile device view would kind of look like. So that's that same homepage, and if you were to visit that same homepage just on your mobile device, it would give you that nice view. It'll enlarge that text right up for you. It'll look like it's made right for your mobile phone.
I like that. Contact us.
So if anybody has any feedback whatsoever, please email me at webmaster@monroeville.pa.us. If you need the email address, please visit our current website. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and there is a link to email me there as well. For council, there is a link to this demo on the council website under relevant documents and information if you'd like to check it out. And here we are with the live demo. Alrighty, so if anybody would like to see a specific thing, how to access it on the new website, feel free to ask or shoot it out.
Search ordinances?
Yes, there is. So if you want to go to ordinances, go to government, and under government, you will see ordinances and resolutions there. And once there, click on the ordinances button here, and say I was looking for zoning ordinances from specifically 1952. I can search 1952, and it will filter down the list to only ordinances listed in 1952.
Wow.
And if I want just zoning, I can search for zoning there, and it will limit it down to everything relevant to
amazing.
zoning.
And can you
That's
also,
amazing.
some other keywords as well, like
Yes.
for
So
open burning or tall grass?
exactly.
Oh,
Every single keyword or ordinance summary, if the word is in the summary and we create a keyword for it, it will be searchable.
You already got a winner with me, you can go home.
Clapping right now.
Thank you very much, Ron. I appreciate that a lot.
So Robert, when do you think this will be going live?
So that is the next part of the presentation. Basically, staff plans to go live tomorrow, conditional on approval, general approval of the public and council. So
I'm in.
Run it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can-
Yeah, quick question too.
I think you already heard my feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick question on.
I'm gonna take you to dinner.
Yeah.
Well, you better take him up on that one.
Yeah. The keyword search is a great addition to it. We discussed also with TV 15 the potential being able to stream and streaming capabilities through it.
yes. So I've been working with
I'm
Jared.
sorry, Ron, let me repeat, I apologize.
Down here, I
should have
couldn't
t-
hear what you
I know, I apologize. No, the discussion was, my question for everyone else was, the concept of adding streaming capabilities such as this meeting to the website, and also how will it affect on the mobile application for it.
So anything that we would set up for the desktop site, we would work that into the mobile just the same. Not really any concern there on my end, getting it to appear on mobile nicely. On the topic of that, Jared and I have been working over the past few months on ideas with that. Got a couple contenders out there, but
More to come.
yeah, definitely more to come there. But for now, we did get the new TV schedule on here. So if you were to go to departments, Monroeville TV department, and the program schedule is now live and updated immediately, and it shows you what is on right now.
And to the later part of my question, saying to Ron, again, sorry, I had my mask on earlier too, was, and I think I'd also spoke with Jared as well, the idea that right now, we could be streaming to the website, this
The
meeting
meeting
as is.
live?
You know, yeah,
Right.
live to it, and then also to your, to as well, too. So I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
Mrs. Mueller will be coming to us with a large
I have a
request
question
at budget time. Thank you, yes, ma'am.
Is that what this
We
is?
understand, we get it.
Yeah, we got that part
Thought
too,
this
but,
was a little violin.
there's a potential to look forward to as well.
Right.
And you're comfortable with all the security protocols that you
Oh.
added to it?
Absolutely, absolutely. So a lot of the software and hardware setups that Jared currently uses, they offer plugins for that availability on the website. A lot of it's very secure, very proprietary, and will work very well with what we have.
Right, it's great.
So-
And also, no issues when we go to links, so we don't end up at strange sites by anything as well.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
too. So that, it wasn't our problems before, but to other links that we had.
Right. Every old link that was on the current website, I have combed through. I have gone through every single external link on there, have updated them where necessary, and removed ones that no longer exist as well.
Right, and we're
So,
continuing the cyber hygiene project
Correct.
as exists with the CISA with information to do that
Correct.
too, so it's strong.
oh yes.
That's terrific, guys. Thank you, it's great work.
Mhm.
Mr.
Thank you.
Harvey, you had something?
Who and how easy is it for the municipality to put on an emergency notice to the public? COVID would be an example, but say there was a
Weather
flood
alert.
condition or,
Right. Very, very easy. So.
who would do it?
As it sits right now, to be determined on who would have those rights. But as it sits right now, you would need a login credential to the website here. Once you have that login credential, you would log in. You would go to the content management portal. You would click add a new announcement. It would take you to an online form there to add a new announcement.
I wouldn't. He would.
Yeah, right.
But you're saying Jared could do that right now? Are you telling us that Jared or
Or,
Tina or Tim could request a certain, is that what you're asking, Mr. Harvey? Could it be put on right now, not someone from the outside adding it in,
I'm
but
just
one of our
saying if
people?
an
Oh,
if an
yes.
event happened in Monroeville that the public should be made aware of, Tim or somebody?
Yes,
Oh, most of it,
Jared,
yeah.
Tim, he's
Put
saying
that on.
immediately.
We push
Yes,
those
yeah.
Nix alerts out, and it'd be about the same way. Tina does a great job getting that information out, even if
Yes.
it's after hours. I know we've gotten a hold of her after hours, but they get notified pretty quickly, and that information gets out pretty rapidly. And then the dispatch center also works with the IT department as well, getting that information out.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything that goes out on Nixle, anything that goes out on Facebook like that, I usually replicate in the announcements on the website myself,
Perfect.
usually. So,
But Robert, this is I don't think people understand how much work this really was. I mean, you know,
it was
he makes it look pretty easy, but this is a tremendous amount of work. I know he showed me some samples of this quite some time ago. This is really, you know, tip of the hat to you. Great job with this.
I appreciate
And
that.
you know, it's definitely something we need to update. The part about the mobile devices, more people access websites on their cell phones than they do on a laptop or,
Yes.
or a
Right,
desktop.
right,
It's just,
right.
and we had to get with that. So great job with that. Council, I don't see any reason to hold it back any further. We should go live as soon as the department.
As soon as you can do it.
Absolutely.
All
great.
right.
We also, I thank you very much and
Yeah.
Excellent job.
look
Good
forward
job,
to it.
Robert.
Sounds good to
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you all so
And,
much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
As a note, we're working with Mike Wazinski, our GIS person, and we're looking down the future, hopefully in the near future, to implement on mobile devices a 311, more or less a complaint system or a comment system if somebody's trash isn't picked up, if they see a pothole, if there's a dog running around, that, and Tina and everybody on staff is probably tired of me saying this, is that it doesn't go to a secretary, then or a department head, then an assistant department head, then a secretary, and then the person that cures the problem. It's gonna go right to the person that cures the problem. And in other words, if garbage is missed, it's gonna go right to that person we have at the end of the day that goes around in Public Works and picks up, does miss garbage in a pickup truck. Now, a pothole isn't gonna be cured right away, but if the problem can be cured immediately or within 4 or 5 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours, it's gonna go right to that person that can fix the problem.
Well, Tim, you'll get a copy too, so you know.
Well, the department head most likely will get a copy. But that, you know, to eliminate a lot of the people where something gets bogged down in the process, so the problem gets resolved right away.
Excellent. Very good. So good work. We're going to move on in our meeting. I have an executive session announcement. The council conducted an executive session before Citizens Night on Thursday, September 9th, 2021, from 6:15 to 7 p.m. and before tonight's regular council meeting from 6:15 to 7 p.m. for personnel and litigation reasons. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at tonight's September 14th council meeting. Council, moving over to our minutes, we have our Citizens Night meeting minutes of August 5th, 2021, the council agenda setting meeting minutes of August 5th, 2021, the regular council meeting of August 10th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve those
Motion to
minutes?
approve.
We have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments, additions, council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye. He was going.
I'm sorry.
The ayes have it. Tax collection reports. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any questions or comments, council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Williams?
Question again?
Tax collection.
This is for motion, there's a motion and a second to approve the tax collection reports.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. And just for, I know the problem is here, we're shuffled around because of our COVID
The
distancing.
seating, yeah.
People are sitting out of order and what they're used to. So the
you
secretary,
want me-
recording secretary is actually going to go by how you're seated, not necessarily your ward number. So
I can
it's changed up a little tonight.
My problem was I was reading something else and not paying attention.
Well, you always pay attention. Pay attention. All right, listed bills and budget transfers. Is there a motion to approve the listed bills and budget transfers?
Motion to approve the bills.
Second.
Motion is second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
The ayes have it. And the payroll report, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Is there a
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Council, we're moving over to our vacancies on boards, commissions, and authorities. In your packet, it's the blue section. Mr. Williams, do you have anything this evening?
Just Dustin Mados, Ward 6, for the Recreation Parks Advisory Board
And that is that's a nomination.
nomination.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No, with the nomination.
What's that?
So I voted aye for the nomination.
Yep, I was just taking
There was not,
Nomination? Yeah.
There's a motion, a second, and it's a nomination.
there was not a unanimous vote.
Why don't you call for?
I can do a roll call vote. So we have
For the nomination.
there's a motion, and a second for a nomination.
Mhm.
Dustin Mados.
No.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Williams, anything else this evening?
Nothing else this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Wolfram?
I have nothing, sir.
Mr.
Nothing, Mayor.
Wilson? Mr. Harvey?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Charlotte Vogel for the Parks and Recreation Board.
Second.
Motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That's
Opposed?
better.
There we go.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Everybody's awake now.
Well,
Sorry,
Sorry,
We gotta
Sharon.
quit reading. Everyone's gotta quit
The ayes
reading.
have it. That's a nomination for Charlotte Vogel, Ward 3, Parks and Recreation Board. Anything else, Mr. Harvey?
No.
Mr. Poach?
No.
Mrs. Gatos?
No, thank you.
Very good. Council, moving over to our consent agenda, new business 21-6-ST. Mr. Little?
Too many traffic studies here.
Okay, we have the Rashad Hassan Tennis Center LLC. Applicants requesting a site plan approval to construct a four-court indoor tennis facility and associated site amenities. The property is located along Wingate Drive and identified as tax parcel 744A272 in the C2 Business Commercial Zoning District. Planning Commission has recommended approval. We discussed this at the agenda-setting meeting last Thursday.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions or comments, council?
I'll just make a comment that we did talk to them about exactly what it's for. It's not for people to just go and play a random game of tennis. This is to learn, to get lessons. So it's going to be a really great thing for the people. So, and they don't need a ton of parking and all of that.
Yeah, because it's
So
not a spectator.
yeah, it's not a
facility.
spectator event. It's a learning place. So just so that everyone understands that.
Very good. Any other questions or comments, council? And like Mr. Little said, we did discuss this at length at the September 9th agenda-setting meeting. There's a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Little, next item.
Okay, East Side Church of Christ. Applicant is requesting conditional use approval to establish a church in an existing building pursuant to the Monroeville zoning ordinance number 1443 as amended, section 401, table 201C, permitted uses and conditional uses, yard and area requirements. The property is located at 4314 Old William Penn Highway in the C2 Business Commercial Zoning District and known as tax parcel 743B152. Planning Commission has recommended approval. We had a public hearing on this due to its conditional use nature on Thursday, and Planning Commission recommended approval.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Mayor,
Unison.
One sec. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
second.
And a second. Mr. Williams.
The comment is, for the public's knowledge, this facility is at the bottom of Duff Road on the left, and it's in the IRS building. I think most of us know where the IRS building is.
On the left-hand side.
So, yeah, so it's part of that, not the whole building. Thank you.
Very good. Thank
Well,
you
and
for clarifying.
also, Mayor, they told us that they are already an existing tenant in that building. They are just moving to another floor. Am I correct in that? To a bigger space?
Bigger space, I think.
I thought they said they were across the street.
They're across,
you
they're across the street, they're moving to
Further
this.
down the road.
You're down the road, but they're moving into a bigger space. They've gotten more people, so they need bigger space.
Yes, they're moving into a larger space, and with that move, they are moving to the C2 zoning district, and it's an approved use, but it has to be by
Right.
conditional, a
Okay.
conditional use.
Yeah.
That's
So
where,
they're existing in our community. They're just moving into a bigger space.
because they're growing, which is
Yes,
great.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Harvey?
Does that make this piece of property tax exempt?
No.
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 You got your
No,
answer?
the property is, I'm sorry, the property's owned by a private individual who leases to them. So the taxes are calculated, the value's calculated on the income that the private individual or corporation gets from those leases.
I'm just, I
So,
was
so
just
it would be,
curious.
it would be taxable.
Right, but the actual business itself is a tax.
Yeah, the
exempt,
church
just like
doesn't
any
pay
other
the
house of
taxes,
worship.
the landlord does.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. Any other questions or comments, council? Seeing none, we have a motion, a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Good
Good
luck.
luck.
Mr. Little, next item.
Okay, Old Stone Commons, applicant is requesting to rezone all of tax parcels 744F29, 744F41, 744F43, and 744F160 from C2 Business Commercial, R4 Multifamily Residential, and S Conservancy to R5 Multifamily Residential, and that tax parcel 744R145 currently zoned C2 Business Commercial to R5 Multifamily Residential. The balance of parcel 744R145 to remain S Conservancy. Total area to be rezoned being 34.045 acres. The properties are located adjacent to the existing Giant Eagle. Planning Commission has recommended approval for this rezoning. We had a public hearing on this Thursday at the agenda-setting meeting where we had testimony from the applicant and a resident of Red Oak Court.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, a second to approve. Any questions or comments, council?
I would like to make a comment too, that they came up, the time that they took to meet with the Red Oak residents, and that the Red Oak residents actually came up, and the chairman or the president of the HOA came up and it showed their support. So I'd like to say thank you for them taking that time prior to coming up to us so that it wasn't a big debate between the residents, and so I thank the developer for taking that extra time. That really helped us, I think. At least it helped me a lot.
That's a good point.
So I'd like to say thank you to them for that.
Mayor, I'd like to
Mr.
make a
Williams,
comment.
or Wilson, sorry.
Okay.
I know who you are.
My comment is basically to wish these folks good luck, because this is a big undertaking, and it's going to be wonderful, a great program for the municipality and for that whole area of Monroeville. Plus, it's going to bring more tax dollars into Monroeville. So we won't have to see our taxes raised anytime soon.
Very good. Mr. Ratcher, you had a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to question, I know we had a couple of tweaks in the agenda here, and I just wanted to make sure that we properly represented what you all are doing
Yes, we're
in
getting,
tonight's recitation.
Yeah, they were all
Okay, we're all good.
correct.
yeah, getting a
Okay.
thumbs up from the or zoning department in the back.
Okay.
And yes, there were all those typos, everything, or, not typos, but the wording, and everything's taken
Yep.
care of.
Good.
Very good. We have a motion, and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Very good.
Wish you the best of
Yeah.
luck
Good luck with the program.
as it moves forward.
Council, moving over to our motions this evening. We have one motion this evening.
Yeah, motion to authorize to advertise an orders to establish a stop sign on Cathedral Drive at Young Drive. Council tabled this motion at the regular August 10th, 2021 meeting. We had discussions on this. Wednesday at the agenda-setting meeting, and we had a traffic study done on this and some other intersections, and those are at your stations this evening from HRG. I gave council a copy of all those, and it was discussed to put a stop sign at Cathedral Drive, not Young Drive, but if any stop sign is going to be put there, obviously an ordinance would be needed to put the stop sign there.
So council, it's currently tabled. No action can be taken and left on the table, or it could be removed from the table for another action.
Just,
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to remove the ordinance from the table.
Second.
So a motion and a second to remove the ordinance from the table, or the motion from the table. So roll call, please, just to remove it from the table.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
can we now ask a question?
We require either a motion to approve or a motion to deny initially.
Oh,
Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve the traffic engineer's recommendation by placing a stop sign at Cathedral Drive on the
what's
approach
what Bob Williams wanted
of
to
the
do?
established the intersection right away, so.
Second.
There's a motion and a second.
Now you can talk.
She can ask her question.
Can I
Now you
ask-
can ask the question.
I
Yeah, now
was-
we can discuss this.
Okay, now I was gonna ask.
We don't have to, because we, once again, keep in mind that motion was made, the second was made.
Correct.
We could all vote against that or
Right.
vote for it, so
Okay.
let's go ahead and
But
discuss.
my question was gonna be to Mr. Williams, whose word it is, because he had wanted it the other direction. Do you want it this direction, or do you not want this at all anymore?
I do not want this at all anymore.
That's
It's
what I
just-
wanted to know.
This is no use to the neighborhood.
That's what you, I kind of got out of what you said last time, so that was my question, so, you've answered what I needed to know. Thank you.
Want to withdraw your motion?
Mayor, with that, I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay, and we have a second that needs to be withdrawn as well. Very good.
Mr. Wolfram?
So currently, the item is untabled as it's written, and as it's written is a motion to authorize to advertise an ordinance to establish a stop sign at Cathedral Drive at Young Drive. Does council want to act on that to deny that?
I would like to make a motion to deny the
Second.
advertising.
How am I doing so far?
Go ahead. You're
Yeah.
doing
We're getting
done
there.
this before.
All right.
Yeah.
So we have a motion and a second to deny this item.
Who seconded me?
And Bob.
Williams?
So,
Bob?
Seconded.
Okay,
Bob,
good,
so a vote in the affirmative denies this motion.
correct.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it, the motion is denied.
Okay.
Council, moving over to our resolutions, we have two this evening. Mr. Little, please.
Yeah, the first one is a resolution adopting the Old William Penn Apartment Sewage Planning Module.
Motion approved.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion second to approve. Is there any discussion or questions?
Nope.
Nope.
Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Little, next item.
Okay, this is a resolution under Act 205 of 1984, known as the Municipal Pension Funding Standard Recovery Act, authorizing a 2022 minimum municipal obligation for the police and non-uniform pension plans. As I mentioned to council at the agenda-setting meeting last Thursday, we had not received the MMO from Markenhop, the actuary for the police plan. And we do have the non-uniform, which is at $1,341,149. Now, Act 205 says, and I quote, "You have to present this to council." That doesn't necessarily mean legislation has to take place, but I always put it into a resolutionary form. So what I would suggest to council is to pass this resolution with the non-uniform. Now, when we get the MMO number from Markenhop, I will email that to council, and then I will take the email, so it has been presented to council, and I will keep that so the auditor has that for next year, that we presented that to council before September 30th of each year. The MMO has to be presented to council. It doesn't say a resolution has to be passed. It doesn't say legislative action has to be taken. It just says presented. So if everybody's in agreement with that, because we don't have a number for tonight's meeting.
I'm good.
Okay?
You
Yep.
don't need a motion or anything?
Thank you.
No.
No,
No, right.
we're good.
Well, you can pass the motion for the non-uniform
We don't
part,
have to.
because that's in there.
We don't have to, though.
Mr.
You don't
Ratner.
Just
have
that
to.
we saw it.
I can email both numbers to you before the end of the month.
Council, what's your pleasure?
He's saying we don't have to, as long as we've seen it.
Yeah.
So I don't see, we'll see why
Take
we're
no
taking.
action.
Okay.
Yeah,
Any
his
action.
obligation was to present it.
Present
And he
it,
did
That's
that.
on the
that.
record.
And I'm
We're
good.
You're good.
I'm
Very
good.
good, very
Thank
good.
you.
We have 2 ordinances this evening. Mr. Ratcher, please.
An ordinance of the Municipality of Monroeville authorizing the proper officials of Monroeville to enter into a collective bargaining agreement with the Refuse Collection Division of the Department of Public Works for the period of January 2020 through December 2023. This matter is currently tabled. If council wishes to take no action or doesn't wish to vote on it, they just simply leave it on the table. No motion needed. If you want to take it off the table, you need a motion to do that, and then you'd have to act on it, so.
Tim, what would you like us to do with it?
Recommendation.
Leave it where it is right now. We talked with the Public Works Union representation last week, and we will be talking with them again tomorrow. So we'll see what happens, but
So we
right
can
now.
do nothing and just move
Nothing.
on?
Just do not, let's move on.
Great.
Next item, Mr. Ratcher.
An ordinance of the Municipality of Monroeville approving a grading easement for Sandy Hill Development LLC concerning property owned by the Municipality of Monroeville located adjacent to the Maple Crest Residential Development.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, a second to approve. Any questions or comments, council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving over to reports of our municipal staff. Mr. Ratcher, do you have anything this evening?
I just have one thing. I just want to give my kudos to the IT department. That search function for ordinances that's going to be on the new website, that's going to be a big saver of time for me. So, and thus, and
So
also.
it's all about you.
It'll be more accurate in the sense that we won't miss things.
Absolutely.
So it's really good.
Well said, thank you. Mr. Little, you have 2 items this evening?
Yeah, the one item is, as I mentioned, the last couple of months, we have a recycling event at the Public Works Department on Saturday, October 2nd, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And speaking of the website, you can go on the website and register for that event. It is always encouraged to register for that. Also, a last-minute item that came in the mail today from Plum Contracting, who is doing the bridge over Center Road. There is going to be a 28-day closure of that road, because they're working for the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission, and I'm assuming they did not give any dates, but the date of the letter
Center
was
Road?
yesterday. And Center Road, it's going to be a 28 detour of Center Road. And it says the purpose of this closure is to facilitate the construction and tie-in of the new bridge structure. This 28-day road closure will consist of a detour for all Center Road traffic. Old Frankstown Road and Gateway Drive will still be accessible to residents during the closure. So I assume that started yesterday.
Does it tell you where the detour?
Yeah, they have a list of detours here. I'm not going to go through those. I'm sure that they have the signage up. Unless you want me to go through, I'll go through the
Well,
detours.
you'll have
Can
to
you put
drive
this on
around
the
to the next
website?
bridges across the
Can you
turnpike.
put this on the website?
Yes, it's on the
The next
website.
bridge
Yeah, it
is-
should be
That's
on the
all they
website
need.
today. I gave it to Robert today.
But, Tim, did you say, what did they say about the Gateway Drive residents?
They said that this 28-day closure will consist of a detour for all Center Road traffic. Old Frankstown and Gateway Drive will still be accessible to residents during the closure.
They'll be able to access from Center Road
Yeah,
already.
they'll have to be able to access.
You're still gonna be able to access Gateway Drive
Yeah,
from Center
yeah.
Road?
How?
Yeah, but how you,
Well, you're not
Old
going to be able to
Frankstown.
come, you're going to have to go around, obviously. You're probably
That's
gonna
gonna be a
come
big,
so my question is, would it be advisable to remove that guardrail at the end of Gateway Drive temporarily
we've talked about that.
to allow them to get in and out of Old Frankstown without going all the way to the end, and counting emergency vehicles? And then when the bridge is done, put the guardrail back.
I think it's a great idea.
So at the end of Gateway Drive, it is about from me to you
Yeah.
away from Old Frankstown Road.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So my recommendation would be is to take that guardrail out of there, make that accessible for the Gateway Drive residents until the project's done.
Yeah, as long as there isn't any reason not to through Public Works Department or the Department Department of Transportation, which,
Yeah, I don't think there's any water lines or anything like that under there, though I don't know.
Mr. Hubbard, what would they drive on? I mean, I agree 100% with your thought process. I know what you're talking about.
Well, we'd have to put some paving down.
I was gonna say, there has to be something done.
I mean,
because right now there's nothing. Right now, it's,
I think it's just
right now
ground,
it's,
weeds.
again, it's, that, from me to you is even kind of far. It's literally from me to Mr. Ratcher, and it's grass, dirt, you know.
But I think it's wide enough, though, to
how about this, what if we have Public
It was
Works,
open
look
years
into it?
ago.
Let's have Public Works and the Engineering Department look
to
into it.
look at it.
And if they can do it, let's do it.
Yeah, let's definitely do it.
And then when the bridge,
Does that make
Isn't
Gateway,
thoroughfare.
does that make Gateway Drive a,
Oh,
Does it
Throughway,
make Gateway Drive
the
like
throughway.
well, I don't think it'll make it a
22?
thoroughfare, because it's gonna be on the other side of the closure. You know, what you're saying is,
If you go up Center Road and you can't, and you're gonna turn on
Talking
Gateway
about
Drive,
close
now,
it.
But you won't be able to.
you won't be able to, because you
Center
can't
Road
get
will
to
be
Gateway
closed.
Drive from
so
Center.
the people coming from Plum
Yeah,
aren't
you're
gonna go to
right.
Gateway
It's gonna be
Drive.
closed.
he's talking about coming
Yeah,
from
you're right,
like
yeah.
your direction.
You can't get there.
No, you can't.
It's gonna be closed.
Closed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll be closed.
well, I thought it was open until Gateway. You could
was-
access Gateway
no.
Drive from
They'll
Center
They're
Road.
No.
saying the detours
Ruth.
for Gateway Drive are gonna be open, which is Old Frankstown Road.
Road, right.
But I wanna make it the back of Gateway Drive.
Where the
I
cul-de-sac
think it
is.
would be more,
Oh, I see what you, okay.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I
When
agree.
Gateway Drive was built, it was open.
Correct.
Right, there
At
was
one
room
point it
there.
was.
It was open
Yes.
through the 70s,
and
yeah.
then when the bridge is open,
Closed.
Take it, close it back
close
down.
it again.
But I think we may have to talk to also to the people that live there prior. to-
Mr. Story, do you have,
You have any comment?
Yeah, see, Joe, you
We're
thought
glad
you were
you're
gonna
here
get away
tonight.
with this
Oh, I
filling in
didn't see
tonight.
it.
Oh, yeah, he was
Jamie,
he was
do you have
trying
a
to hide last
presentation
night.
on this for us?
Jamie's hiding back there.
He's being pretty stealth.
Boy, I'll
To be
say.
fair, I wasn't hiding so much as I was shoved in the corner back there by Paul Wilde.
you put on a tie, may as well show it off.
My knee-jerk reaction, I guess, is if there's road closed ahead signs at Old Frankstown coming like from the Plum side, from the Boyce Park side, and people kind of ignore those and end up at Gateway Drive, and then they all cut through Gateway Drive to come out the other end, you're gonna increase the amount of traffic there. Or possibly, like, maybe they're gonna come out the other end of Gateway Drive, Old Frankstown, at the top of the ski slopes and cut through. Like, I'd just be concerned that there's gonna be more cut-through traffic, but somebody hit the nail on the head. I think there's an asphalt curb there, and I think the asphalt was removed when the guide rail went in, and there's mulch or something out there. So we can look at it, but there might be
My
unintended
contention is-
consequences.
Is that it's a shorter drive from Center Road on Old Frankstown to the back of Gateway Drive, using Old Frankstown, than it is to use Gateway Drive. I'm simply doing this
Right.
for the residents on Gateway Drive.
I like Mayor Griesbach's idea. Let's take a look at it and see what it will entail and put a little bit of thought into it.
And
before we
also,
get
there's
to-
the four houses at the end of Gateway Drive.
Is in it
That was used to impact that.
Yeah, they may not
Find
like
out.
the idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
find
the
out
clo-
what
we
they
have
think.
time
But
for the, we
let's
have time
look.
before the closure actually occurs, right, Mr. Little?
I can tell you it's not
Well, no,
closed
my
today.
understanding is, they didn't give any dates on here, so I'm assuming, I hate to assume, it came yesterday or today in the mail, September 13th is the date of the letter. They're saying detour Center Road, 28-day closure, but no dates were given in the letter.
Want me to stop out to their construction site tomorrow and see?
Not a bad
The only-
idea.
Yeah, let's see if it's.
Thank
We'll get the
you.
details, we'll look at
Besides
it.
that, the only people that are gonna know the back of the Gateway Drive's open is the Gateway Drive residents.
And all the people watching on TV.
We'll let the cat out of the bag.
Well, after you tell them all on TV.
You just,
But I'll add, and
Yeah,
Ron,
but
I'll add the comment to
Jamie.
everybody else now that you usually do, is to tell everybody, it's the turnpike, not us.
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
so-
isn't that the
Right.
truth? Yeah,
So-
Jimmy, if you could look at that, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Okay, let's
thanks,
do
Mr.
it.
Story. And actually, while you're here, do you have anything else you want to add, any municipal?
I have nothing.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming out tonight.
And a
Thank
few
you.
words, on Jamie.
I
Mr. Little,
I
do you have
would
anything
think
else?
if those
No, that's all.
on Gateway Drive was contacted, the whole neighborhood's gonna be in these chambers.
Well, let's just start with Jamie looking first.
That's easier said than done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I
good.
know, yeah.
Let's move on, council.
May
So
happen before.
we're going to move over to our
May
public comment on any municipal item. If there's anybody here in the audience that would like to comment about any municipal item, now would be your chance. Seeing none, we're going to close that portion, move over to our reports of our council members. Mrs. Gatos, we'll start with you.
Yes, a couple of things, especially things that happened this evening. The donation of $10,000 to our animal shelter by the Memorial Golf outing, that was just an amazing, touching thing. I have held golf outings for my brother had passed away and gave the money to the food bank. So I love seeing things like that. I think it's a great thing that they do and give back to the community and on behalf of someone that we have lost. So I'd like to thank them for all the time and the volunteers and everyone that worked on that. And then also the new website, the way to contact people. For all of us whose eyes are getting older, to be able to visually see it better is going to be a big plus as well. And especially like we all were like just shaking our heads about being able to look up ordinances and stuff, because trying to find them before was like reading Greek. I certainly I couldn't do it. So I thank the IT department for all their work, and I think that's probably enough for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Poach?
Yeah, Linda, I have to agree with you 1,000%. Thanks to the Balsics and the rest of that group, and that was terrific. And I know Dan would be pretty happy about that as well, for doing that. And again, kudos to the IT guys. Way to go, Bobby. And Tina and the rest of the group. That's something we've talked about, and they've increased their security in the last year greatly, and a couple of programs that they participate in with Homeland, and that's been great too. So they're doing a terrific job. That's made our night, made my night.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Poach. Mr. Harvey?
Yes, the first thing is that, as you guys approved with me at the request of the petition from the residents on Bruner Drive for a traffic calming study, and that study is back, and I'm just going to be brief on it. The traffic engineers timed cars and watched cars and counted cars from August 4th to August 11th, approximately 100 feet north of Marywood Drive. And they recorded 756 vehicles per day with a maximum volume of 870 vehicles. Without reading you the whole thing, the average speeds
33.
were less than our traffic calming resolution requires, and the average speeds being anywhere from 29 to 35 miles an hour. Not that there wasn't any faster than that, but based on the existing traffic volumes and vehicle speeds, HRG does not recommend pursuing the installation of traffic calming devices or measures on Bruner Drive or Ruth Drive at this time in accordance with the traffic calming policy. Now, I know the residents aren't going to be happy about hearing that, but you have to understand that there is a regulation. The traffic engineers did their job. It is my opinion, for the years that I've lived in Monroeville and worked here as a police officer, that Ruth Drive and Bruner Drive don't need traffic calming, they need enforcement. And so if the manager and the chief would get together and on various days do some enforcement, I think it would help greatly. I don't know what they can do about, once in a while, I guess there's a tractor trailer that cuts through there. It does not have a weight limit on it, and we did post a sign that's non-enforceable to try to deter that from happening. However, I think the big thing would be to get some enforcement over there on various days. And so that's my report on that. Second thing is on 227 Spartan Drive, I had complaints from numerous residents on Spartan Drive of the person running a dentist office out of his home. I checked on the property owner that for the tax office. It's Enrique Navarro. I don't know if that's exactly who's doing this. I do know that there's been our code enforcement people, our engineering department. I know that the Department of State and the Allegheny Department of Health are all involved in this, because it started off with so much traffic going in and out of the house, they thought it was drug trafficking. So the narcotics guys sat over there, and they actually gathered their garbage one night and went through it and found needles and medicines, but nothing illegal. And so they said, this is not narcotics movements, it's somebody else's problem, and it got passed on to the departments I just mentioned to you. I do know that the Monroeville Police Department and the code enforcement guys went over there and were denied entry. So they backed off that, and the residents were watching and recording. Apparently, the customer was pulling up and getting out of a vehicle and going in and having dental work done in this person's basement. And it was all through jitney drivers. And after the complaint happened, so instead of parking in front of his house and causing a traction, they parked up at Greater Works Outreach. And the doctor, supposed doctor, would call them, and they would drive down there, down Spartan Drive, and drop them off. So as the investigation went on, they finally gained, well, actually, the gentleman came up here and had a meeting with Paul Hugus and several other people, including code enforcement, and did pay a fine because they sent multiple certified letters to the owner. Bob, we're talking about Spartan Drive.
Yeah, and you know, they're still being investigated by two other agencies.
Yeah,
so-
I think the Department of State and the Department of Health.
Yeah, so we don't want to say,
Too much.
And
We're not gonna go too
and
far.
that part of the investigation is on the mere fact that they don't believe the guy has a license. So I am told that the traffic has severely, gone down, but now the customer goes around back in his garage, and he lets them in the garage, and then they do what they do, and he lets them out of the garage. And so there's multiple agencies involved in this. The residents have reported to me as early as yesterday that the traffic has severely slowed down, but and there's no business permit for that in the tax office. So investigation moves on. Some time ago, council put in the budget two positions, an assistant police chief and an assistant manager. And to my knowledge, nothing's happened. I would like council's support in asking Tim Little, Joe Sedlak, and Chief Cole to proceed with advertising, interviewing, and background checks to get these positions filled. The new appointments will need a decent amount of time to get acclimated, and who knows when you guys are gonna retire. So,
Well, on that point, that will all come up during the budget, because we're not budgeted for it this year because of the COVID. We kept it out of there. However, it will be in there for the 2022 budget.
okay. But I just wanted to encourage to do something with it this time. We promised the volunteer fire companies an outside pavilion when the MS4 division moved out of the training center. I was wondering if we could get moving on this before the bad weather, and I would suggest seeing Chief Sonnefeld from Station 1. He has the information on it, and maybe you could, council, or you could use some of the money from the sale of the pumper to complete that project. I got one other thing. And council, if we could authorize the manager to add approximately $5,900 to the training tower renovations. As they started tearing the tiles off the inside,
Oh, no.
they found that there was things called battens in there that are the securement to these towels. And nobody could have found out till they started removing them, how many of them are bad. And it's to the point where they need we recommend they all be replaced. And it would be another $5,900 to that training tower renovation.
Can I see the estimate whenever, you know?
It's from this same company that's doing the towels.
What's the total so far?
Well, this will make it about 20,000, I think.
We didn't before.
Yeah.
We do
but we need approval to add that $5,900.
we are charging.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the manager paying for the extra $5,900 on the
I'm not
renovation.
taking it out of my pocket.
Can I ask a question? Do we charge anybody outside of Monroeville to use that tower as we're
Yeah,
we're
wait a minute.
putting all
Let
this
me
money into
get this-
renovations?
There's a whole discussion on that line.
Right now, or another day?
You brought it up.
Well, yeah, I had to ask the
I just want to
question.
get this approved and then,
Well, I brought that up when this issue came up, whenever we brought this up, six months ago, whatever it was.
I remember.
And to answer that question, I would address that when we do the budgeting process with the fee schedule. And I do think that that should be looked at.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I do think that that should be looked at.
Well, they're already working on it, and I agree with Ron that we need to finish a project and not cover anything up.
No one's saying to
No,
not
yeah.
do that, Mr. Williams. We're
Yeah.
talking about putting a fee schedule together for outside entities that come in and use it.
Well, that's not what he's after right now.
Right,
I know.
exactly.
It was
So
just
let's
a
do that.
question.
So thank you, Mr. Williams. So, Mr. Harvey, you made a motion for an
to
additional
approve the
$5,900,
$5,900.
and Mr. Williams is making a second. Is there any further discussion or comments or questions about that part?
Yeah, I would like to make a comment. My comment is, if it's going to be unsafe not to replace those items, then we need to move forward just to replace them properly and place them so that it makes that tower safer.
I think, Tom, I think that bid replaces them all.
Okay, it'll make it safer too.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right,
because the towels could still fall off because of.
right, right.
And we're paying a lot of money already for the tiles,
Right.
so we need to have them secured correctly.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
And
the
then-
battens usually are pieces of 1x3 that are attached to the tower now for the tiles to go on. Because I used to do that kind of work myself, so I know what it's involved. So it must be a lot of bat that needs replaced on that, I'm taking.
Well,
Like you said, all of them.
They're specialized too.
2 rooms, well, so.
But then with the caveat of, yeah, we need to look at our budget time, the fee schedule
Correct.
for this.
but I think we're all in agreement for the
Facility.
safety and
We gotta
why
finish the
put
job.
up,
Yeah.
why put up the new panels
So,
if they're not gonna be secured
We have a
right?
motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye,
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
good job on that one.
Mr. Harvey, do you have anything else this evening?
Just one other thing, my thoughts and prayers go out to Mr. Senko. I know he was supposed to have his surgery today. I understand it's been moved to tomorrow, but I hope everything goes well and he makes a fast recovery.
Thank you.
Didn't know he was having surgery.
Mr. Wilson?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, good luck to Greg with his test that he's going to have tomorrow. Also, I'd like to thank our IT department for a wonderful job with the new website. I know everybody's going to be able to work it. It'll be much more friendly for the outsiders as well as me to work it properly. And that's all I have tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wolfram?
Well, it's easy to be almost last year. I can say ditto. One thing that wasn't mentioned last week was the fact that the sheets now opened up on 22. Fine, I've been watching and waiting for it to open up for information for some people for small gas engines. They're gonna have that new gas out there that doesn't have the quote corn oil that's been ruining per se small gas engines or giving them problems. So they have promised us that they were supposed to put one of those pumps in and stuff like that. And again, I'd like to say good luck to Mr. Arasenko. He sits right here, and I hope, Greg, everything goes well. That's it.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Williams?
Yeah, the new sheet store, that's at Duff Road, they did a nice job on that. And it is fully open now, and it looks good.
One's probably been there 10 times.
There's activity at the Penn Monroe site, finally. And nice to see that moving on, and some things will be done there. There's also a groundbreaking for the Veteran Center at the Monroeville Mall on September the 16th. I look forward to being with that, and that's going to help so many of our veterans who won't have to go to Oakland, fight the traffic, and pay for parking. So that's gonna be a good thing for Monroeville and the medical center here.
Sorry, what date did you say that was?
16th,
Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
And even that, if you're going there, you're gonna have to show proof of a vaccination card, or they're not gonna let you in, so, that's a good thing too. I wish Greg a good report on his doctor's visit tomorrow, and my prayers and thoughts will be with him, tomorrow. Thank the IT department, for this website. People like me that's not real computer savvy, the easier they can make it for me, the better it is. Even when Tim and people send stuff to my phone, sometimes I don't miss it. And I'm at the age where I don't trust all these electronics, so I call up and say, did you get it? You know, not trusting it. But anyhow, good things are happening in Monroeville, and we'll continue that. And we're gonna continue to keep our taxes down. And you gotta remember, the businesses in Monroeville is why our taxes are low in the borough. So, good work for those developers, and they're doing a good job. That Giant Eagle property, there was a deal 20 years ago. They was gonna put rental housings in there, and it fell through. So this is a good thing for Monroeville. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor,
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
can I add one thing, sir?
Sure.
What I'd like to add is that with this new website, Tim, you might be able to put that, the application for a resume for anybody for the commissions. You might want to put that on the website, and that way you don't have to,
Well, we already do. You mean you talk about for committees, boards, and authorities?
yes.
Yeah, we already do.
Okay, so, no, what I'm saying is, then we discuss the possibility, not possibility, but that you would develop a
Oh, the form.
application,
Oh, yeah.
okay? And if you develop the application, put it on the website, and you can
Yeah.
just say, somebody says, I want to
Sure,
try this commission, let's try it on there.
sure.
And that'll be user-friendly enough
Yeah.
that people can look to see what vacancies are available.
Right.
And then as they
Right.
look through the list, then there'd be a way to click through
Right.
to find out how to do it. Because
And that would go right to Mr. Little, right?
Yes,
Yes. So
Robert
there-
can do it, however we want to do
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
and then he can send that to us.
Very good.
Thank you.
You got it. So I'll finish up. Yes, I mean, everybody already struck the high points here. I mean, thank you to the Balsick family for their donation. Great job to Robert with the website, the groundbreaking, and the VA's coming up, which is a great thing for Monroeville and even better for our veterans in the region. And the one item that's coming up, it's a fundraiser for the Monroeville Senior Citizens Center, their fall fundraiser for Halloween. It's the You've Been Booed, so you can join the Monroeville Senior Center. They're there to make sure Halloween is spooktacular. Keep it safe and send a little special Halloween treat to your kiddos, loved ones, neighbors, coworkers, friends, etc. Let our senior ghosts sneak out and deliver Halloween goodies to your front door on the evening of Friday, the 29th of October. The deadline is Friday, October 15th. All this information is available on the website through the Monroeville Senior Center Facebook page. You can certainly call the Senior Center as well for more information. But for $20 for kids, they will get a kids bucket. It's Halloween glow items, toys, snacks, and treats. There's an adult one, $25, which will include Halloween beers, beer koozies, snacks, and treats. And then there is an add-on, you can place a sign. So basically, the ghosts at the Senior Center will sneak into people's yards and place these buckets on front porches and leave signs. It's a really fun event, and it's a great way to support the Senior Center. All the proceeds support the seniors and the Council of Senior Citizens. But please join them in this event. The deadline is Friday, October 15th, so we do have some time. And you can boo your friends and family. And I just want to, best wishes to Councilman Arasinko. We wish him a speedy recovery, certainly. And with that, I would like to seek a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Move.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you and good night.